I never imagined a simple weekend getaway could upend my entire life. As the car wound through the dense forests of upstate New York, I glanced at my best friend Ben, who was humming along to the radio, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. But when we pulled up to the cabin and his father, Mr. Carter, stepped out to greet us with that warm, commanding smile, I felt a jolt that told me this trip was about to become something dangerously complicated. The air was crisp with the scent of pine and lake water as Ben parked the old Jeep. We'd been planning this escape for months. Two college buddies ditching the chaos of city life for fishing, bonfires, and zero responsibilities. Ben slapped me on the back, grinning. "Alex, man, you're gonna love it here. Dad's got the boat ready, and the beer's chilling." Mr. Carter, call me David, he'd insist later, extended a firm handshake. At 45, he was the picture of rugged maturity. Broad shoulders from years of manual labor, salt and pepper hair cropped short, and eyes that seemed to see right through you. "Good to see you again, Alex. Ben's told me all about your photography gig in Brooklyn. Sounds exciting." I nodded, forcing a casual smile, but my pulse quickened. I'd met David a few times before at Ben's family barbecues, where he'd always been the steady patriarch, divorced, raising Ben alone after his wife left years ago. There was something about him, though, a quiet intensity that drew me in, even as I buried those thoughts deep. I was 23, openly gay since high school, but navigating that in a world full of judgments wasn't easy. Ben knew, of course. He was my rock, the straight ally who punched a bully for me back in 10th grade. We unloaded our gear, the cabin welcoming us with its wooden charm, logs stacked by the fireplace, a deck overlooking the shimmering lake. As evening fell, we cracked open beers around the fire pit. Ben regaled us with stories from our dorm days, his laughter echoing into the night. David listened, occasionally chiming in with dry wit that made my stomach flip. "You boys think college is tough? Try running a construction firm during a recession," he said, his voice gravelly from years of shouting orders on sites. I found myself stealing glances, noting the way firelight danced on his face, highlighting the lines of experience. It was innocent at first, or so I told myself. But when Ben crashed early, claiming jet lag from our drive, David and I were left alone under the stars. "Can't sleep?" he asked, poking the embers. "Not really. The quiet's deafening after the city." He chuckled. "Yeah, it takes getting used to. Peaceful, though. Helps clear the head." We talked for hours, about my dreams of exhibiting my photos, his regrets over a marriage that crumbled under the weight of unspoken truths. "I loved her, but we were young. Didn't know ourselves well enough," he admitted, staring into the flames. There was a vulnerability there, a crack in his stoic facade that made my heart ache. By the time we turned in, a subtle tension hung in the air, like the promise of rain. I lay on the pull-out couch, replaying his words, wondering if I was imagining the spark. The next morning, Ben dragged me out for a hike, his energy boundless. "Come on, lazy bones. Dad's making breakfast after." We trekked through trails lined with autumn leaves, the crunch underfoot a rhythmic soundtrack. Ben opened up about his girlfriend troubles back home, seeking advice I gave half-heartedly, my mind drifting to David flipping pancakes in the kitchen. Back at the cabin, breakfast was a spread of eggs, bacon, and fresh coffee. David served us with easy grace, but his eyes lingered on me a beat too long. "Sleep okay, Alex?" "Best in ages," I lied, avoiding his gaze. The day unfolded lazily. Fishing on the lake, where Ben caught a bass and hooped like a kid. David steered the boat, his sleeves rolled up, muscles flexing in the sun. I snapped photos, capturing moments. Their father-son bond, the serene water. But one shot framed David alone, thoughtful against the horizon. When he caught me, he smirked. "Hope I'm photogenic." "You're perfect," I blurted, then blushed. Ben laughed it off, but David's expression shifted, a flicker of curiosity. That afternoon, while Ben napped, I wandered to the dock with my camera. David joined me, handing over a beer. "Mind if I sit?" "Not at all." We sat in companionable silence at first, feet dangling over the water. Then he asked about my life, really asked, probing deeper than small talk. Ben says you're single. Anyone special? I hesitated. Not lately. Dating in New York is complicated. He nodded. Tell me about it. After the divorce I tried, but work took over. And Ben needed stability. There was a pause, heavy with unspoken words. What about you? Ever think about settling down again? His laugh was rueful. Maybe, but I'm not sure what I want anymore. Our eyes met and time stretched. The air crackled. A magnetic pull I couldn't ignore. He leaned closer, his voice low. Alex, there's something about you. Before I could respond, Ben's voice called from the cabin. Hey, you two. Dinner time. The moment shattered, but the seed was planted. That night, around the fire, tension simmered. Ben sensed nothing, chattering about plans for tomorrow. But as we said goodnight, David's hand brushed mine. Accidental? Intentional? It sent shivers down my spine. Sleep evaded me, thoughts swirling. Was this real or just cabin fever? And what about Ben? The guilt gnawed, but so did the longing. Dawn broke with golden light filtering through the curtains, but my mind was a whirlwind. I slipped out early, camera in hand, hoping solitude would sort my feelings. The forest path led to a clearing, where mist rose from the ground like whispered secrets. I photographed the scene, trying to capture its ethereal beauty, but my focus blurred with images of David. Back at the cabin, breakfast was underway. Ben was flipping through his phone, oblivious. David poured coffee, his movements deliberate. Morning, Alex. Get some good shots. Yeah. The light's amazing out there. Our fingers touched as he handed me the mug, a spark igniting. Ben suggested a town run for supplies, but David waved him off. Go ahead, son. I'll stay and fix that leaky faucet. Alex, you mind helping? Ben shrugged. Sure. Be back in an hour. Alone, the cabin felt smaller, charged. We worked side by side in the bathroom, tools clinking. David's proximity was intoxicating. His scent of soap and wood, the brush of his arm against mine. As he tightened a bolt, he paused. About last night. My heart pounded. Yeah. He set down the wrench, facing me. I don't know what's happening here, Alex, but I feel it too. The admission hung between us, raw and real. I swallowed. David, this is crazy. Ben's my best friend. You're his dad. I know. God, I know. He ran a hand through his hair, conflicted. But for the first time in years, I feel alive. Like I'm not just going through the motions. We stood there, inches apart, the air thick with possibility. Then, tentatively, he reached out, his hand cupping my cheek. The touch was gentle, electric. Our lips met in a kiss that was soft at first, then deepening with pent-up emotion. It was wrong, forbidden, but in that moment it felt inevitable. We pulled apart, breathless. We can't, I whispered, even as my body screamed otherwise. I know, he echoed, but his eyes said different. Ben's return shattered the bubble. We acted normal, but the secret burned. Lunch was tense for me, every glance at David a reminder. That afternoon we hiked as a group, Ben leading the way. David and I lagged, our conversation laced with subtext. You okay? He murmured. Barely. This is messing with my head. Mine too. But Alex, you're special. You see me, not just the dad or the boss. His words warmed me, but guilt clawed. Ben was family. How could I betray that? Evening brought a storm, rain pounding the roof. We played cards inside, laughter forced on my part. As thunder rolled, Ben yawned. I'm beat. Night, guys. Once alone, David and I sat by the window, watching lightning illuminate the lake. We need to talk, I said. He nodded. This can't go on like this. But I don't want to stop. The confession unleashed a torrent. We shared stories, my coming out struggles, the rejection from some family, his buried attractions, suppressed for a normal life. I married young to fit in, he admitted. But it cost me everything. My heart broke for him. You deserve to be true to yourself. And you make me want that. He pulled me close, our embrace fierce, born of shared pain. But as the night wore on, reality intruded. What about Ben? Society? This could destroy us all. He sighed. I don't have answers. But for now, in this cabin, it's just us. We talked until dawn, forging a connection deeper than physical. It was emotional intimacy, raw and vulnerable, that scared me most. The next day, sun chased away the clouds, but shadows lingered in my soul. Ben proposed a boat outing and we obliged. Out on the water, waves lapped gently, but inside me, turmoil raged. As Ben fished, David and I stole moments, whispered words, lingering touches underwater. It was thrilling, dangerous, but when Ben caught a big one, his joy reminded me of the stakes. Back ashore, tension peaked. While Ben showered, David cornered me in the kitchen. I can't pretend anymore. Neither can I. Another kiss, stolen and sweet. But fate intervened. Ben emerged early, catching a glimpse? No, but his mood shifted, sensing something off. You guys seem close. We laughed it off, but seeds of doubt planted. That night, around the fire, Ben opened up. Dad, you seem happier this weekend. What's up? David glanced at me. Just good company, son. Ben nodded, but his eyes narrowed slightly. The drama was building, invisible walls cracking. The final full day dawned with deceptive calm, birdsong filling the air as if mocking my inner chaos. I woke to the smell of coffee, David already up, his silhouette against the window a portrait of quiet strength. Ben was still asleep, giving us a stolen moment. We have to be careful, I whispered, joining him. He turned, pulling me into a hug. I know, but every second with you feels right. His words fueled the fire, but guilt was a constant companion. How could something so beautiful feel so treacherous? Ben stirred and we separated. Breakfast was pancakes, syrup sticky like our predicament. Last day, guys. Let's make it epic, Ben declared, planning a long hike to a waterfall. The trail was steep, mirroring the escalating drama. We climbed, sweat beading, conversations flowing. Ben talked dreams, grad school, travel. David shared construction war stories. I contributed photography tales, but my mind wandered to the man beside me. At the summit, the waterfall cascaded, a roar that drowned thoughts. We posed for photos, Ben insisting on group shots. In one, David's arm around my shoulder lingered, his thumb brushing my neck, a secret code. On the descent, Ben twisted his ankle slightly. Ouch! Damn roots. David helped him, fatherly concern etched. I watched, heart swelling at his tenderness, but aching with the lie. Back at the cabin, Ben iced his foot, waving off worry. I'm fine. You two go swim. I'll read. The lake beckoned, sun high. David and I waded in, water cool against heated skin. Underwater, hands found each other, a brief clasp conveying volumes. Floating on our backs, he murmured. What happens after this weekend? I don't know, but I want more than stolen moments. Me too. But Ben. The name hung like a guillotine. We returned, dripping, to find Ben napping. Tension mounted as evening approached. Dinner was grilled steaks, wine flowing. Ben raised a glass. To friendship and family. We toasted, but irony bit. As night fell, a bonfire blazed. Ben shared childhood memories, painting David as hero. Each story deepened my admiration and conflict. When Ben retired early, ankle throbbing, David and I remained. Flames flickered, mirroring our passion. Alex, I've never felt this way. It's terrifying. Same. But society won't understand. Age gap, your son, everything. He nodded. I've hidden who I am for so long. Coming out now could cost my business, friends. And Ben might hate us. The word stung, but truth hurt. We held each other, comfort in embrace, as stars wheeled overhead. Sleep was fitful, dreams haunted by confrontations. Morning brought packing, the end looming. Ben, hobbling, loaded the car. Great weekend, huh? Yeah. I managed. David hugged Ben, then me longer, meaningful. Drive safe. The road home blurred with tears unshed. Ben chatted, but I was distant. Days later, back in Brooklyn, texts from David lit my phone. Miss you already. Replies flew, building a secret bridge. But guilt festered. I confided in no one, isolation growing. Then a bombshell. Ben called. Hey man, something's off. You and Dad. Did anything happen? Panic surged. What? No, why? He seems different. Happier, but secretive. I deflected, but cracks showed. David and I met secretly in the city, a coffee shop, then walks in Central Park. Each encounter deepened love, but shadows loomed. One night, over dinner at his hotel, he said, "We have to tell Ben." Terror gripped. It could ruin everything. But lying's worse. The decision hung, drama peaking. The confrontation brewed like a storm over the city skyline. Weeks after the cabin, David and I had nurtured our connection in shadows. Stolen lunches, late-night calls where voices cracked with longing. But the weight of secrecy pressed, suffocating. Ben noticed. His texts grew probing. You okay, Alex? Haven't hung out much. Guilt twisted like a knife. He was my brother in all but blood, the one who'd defended me when classmates hurled slurs. Betraying him felt like self-betrayal. David felt it too. We can't build on lies, he said during a park bench rendezvous. His hand in mine under a newspaper disguise. I know, but how? He'll feel blindsided. We planned carefully, logic our anchor amid emotional turbulence. A neutral spot, a diner in Queens away from prying eyes. The day arrived, rain slicking streets, mirroring my dread. Ben showed first, curious. What's this about? You two ganging up? David arrived, face etched with resolve. We ordered coffee, small talk stalling. Finally, David cleared his throat. Ben, there's something we need to tell you. Ben's brow furrowed. Okay. Alex and we've developed feelings. It started at the cabin. Silence descended, thick as fog. Ben's face paled, then reddened. What? You mean, like, together? I nodded, voice trembling. It's real, Ben. We didn't plan it. He slammed his mug down. Are you kidding? Dad, you're twice his age. And Alex, you're my best friend. This is messed up. David reached out. Son, I know it's a shock, but I've struggled with this part of me forever. Ben recoiled. Struggled? You mean you're gay? And you pick my friend? Tears welled in David's eyes. Bi, actually. But yes, I love him. The word hung powerful. Ben stood, chair scraping. Love? This is betrayal. How long? A few weeks, I said softly. He laughed bitterly. Weeks? And you hid it? I feel like a fool. He stormed out, rain swallowing him. David buried his face in hands. What have we done? I held him, gave him truth. He'll come around. But days turned to silence. Ben ignored calls, blocked texts. Rumors swirled. Friends whispered. Family questioned. David's ex-wife called. Furious. You're destroying our son. Society's judgment amplified. At work, David faced stares. Construction sites buzzed with gossip. The boss is what? Whispers turned to slurs. Contracts wavered. For me, photography gigs dried up when a client heard. Don't want drama, they said. Isolation bonded us, but pain deepened. We leaned on each other, love a lifeline amid chaos. One night, in my tiny apartment, David confessed fears. What if Ben never forgives? Then we fight for him, and us. A turning point came via email. Ben, need time, but talk. We met at a park, tension palpable. Ben looked haggard. Why him, Dad? David sighed. Because he sees me, makes me whole. Ben turned to me. And you? My dad. It's not about that. It's him, the man, not the role. Ben paced. This changes everything. Family holidays? Friends. We'll navigate, I said. He nodded slowly. I don't hate you, just hurt. Hugs followed, tentative bridges rebuilt. But scars remained. Society pushed back harder. David's business suffered. Conservative clients bolted. Protests at sites. Family values. I faced online trolls after a photo went viral. Homewrecker. Yet, love endured. We attended Pride events, finding community amid controversy. Ben gradually warmed, joining us for coffee. Still weird, but you're happy. Healing was slow, logic clashing with emotion. Debates raged. Age gaps ethical? Family boundaries? Our story sparked talks. Friends divided, some supportive, others judgmental. Through it all, we chose each other, defying odds. As months unfolded, our relationship evolved from fragile secret to defiant reality, tested by fires of public scrutiny and personal doubt. David moved to the city, leaving his upstate home for a modest apartment near mine, a symbol of commitment amid upheaval. His construction firm teetered, but he pivoted, starting a consultancy focused on inclusive workplaces. Time for change, he said, his voice steady despite the fear. I threw myself into photography, channeling turmoil into art. Series on hidden loves, exhibited in a Brooklyn gallery. Reviews were mixed, provocative from allies, scandalous from critics, but sales came, validation in chaos. Ben's journey was rockiest. He distanced at first, burying in studies, but therapy helped. I get it now, he admitted over beer one evening. Dad's happier. You're good for him. Relief washed, but tensions lingered. Family gatherings were awkward. David's sister supportive, brother distant. Think of the example for Ben, he'd argue. Society's conflicts amplified. A local news piece on May-December romances in the LGBTQ community featured us anonymously, sparking debates. Online forums buzzed, consensual adults, live and let live, versus power imbalance, exploitative. We navigated carefully, advocating quietly. David spoke at a support group. Coming out late is hell, but love's worth it. Our bond deepened through trials. Walks in the park became dates, hands held openly. Kisses in rain, laughter in adversity. Yet, doubts crept. One night, storm raging outside, I voiced fears. What if we're wrong? Hurting Ben. Facing hate. David held me. Love isn't wrong. Society's slow to catch up. A climax came at Ben's graduation. We attended together, a united front. Ben hugged us both on stage, whispers rippling through the crowd. Later, at dinner, he toasted, "To family, however it looks." Tears flowed, catharsis sweet. But controversy persisted. A client pulled from David's firm after learning, not aligning with our values. I lost a gig to bias. Your personal life is too public. Resilience grew. We volunteered at LGBTQ centers, helping others navigate similar paths. Stories poured. Late bloomers, forbidden loves. Our narrative inspired some, enraged others. Debates at dinners. Age gaps okay if mutual? Friends split. Through it, love anchored. Lazy Sundays, cooking together. Travels to quiet cabins, echoing our beginning. Years blurred, but the cabin weekend remained pivotal. A spark igniting change. In the end, we built a life, flawed but authentic. Ben married, our bond stronger for the fractures. Yet, questions linger, fueling endless discussions. Was pursuing this love, despite the societal backlash and family strain, ultimately the right choice?